Hey, how's it going? And today I'm excited to bring you this tutorial on hanging wires in LightWave, and this relates to the video I did on the neon lights because it has hanging wires in there, and rather than trying to go in and hang the wires manually, I thought we could just use Bullet Dynamics to hang the wires for us. So I'm going to show you how you can do it. There is one little glitchy thing I'm still working on trying to solve, but I think I got enough of it down to be of help. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm going to start by making a wall just because I want something to hang the wire on. I'm making a box. I'm just clicking and dragging, and then I'm going to come down here. I can just hit the arrow keys. I should be able to hit the, oops, let me click on the box here. I'm going to make some segments here in this box, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. This is kind of a cheat I use or when I want to make a house or something and I don't want to do a bunch of saw banding and stuff like that. I just make the segments already, and then I'm just going to go ahead and give this a little bit of depth, not too much, it's just a basic wall, and then we'll hit enter, and then we're actually going to hit F2, and then we'll hit F3, and we'll get this nice and leveled on the floor. So now I'll hit A to recenter. Now the one thing I'm going to do is the wires need to hang on something, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm just going to click these boxes. So I'm going to click, oops, I got to go to polygon first. So go to polygon, and I'll go click, click, click. I don't know how obsessive you want to be if you know you have to have even spaces. Then after that's done, we're going to go to multiply. We're going to go to multi-shift. We're going to hold down the control and the middle mouse button. The instructions are right down there on the bottom. And we will click and drag, I believe, up. And these can go out kind of far because I don't know how much space we're going to need. And then once we do that, we're going to hit enter, and we're going to click over here and deselect. And now we've got our wall that the wire can hang on. The other thing I want to do is I want to select these boxes sticking out. So I'm just going to click over them and drag and make sure I get them all selected. I want to make sure I get everything here. Let's just take a look. And then let me hit A again to kind of get closer. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, what you'll find is when you're making an object, a collision object, it seems to help the more the item is subdivided, the more geometry it seems to have. So we're going to go in here to, let's see, is it modify? We need subdivide is what we need. So I think that, all right, here it is. So we're going to hit subdivide once. Let me Control Z out of that. Okay, let me go to subdivide. And we want this faceted one. And we'll do that. And you got to keep clicking it. And you'll see why this becomes a factor later. I almost don't even think you can over subdivide it, but you'll see hopefully. I kind of have the same issue when I'm using Sideflex. It needs a lot of mesh for some reason. And we'll see if that helps or not. Okay, so once we're done with that, I can just deselect all that. Now I'm going to go to the second layer, and then I'm going to shift and hit the bottom of the first layer, and we can see this in the background. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to create, and we're going to go to box, and we're going to click and drag and make a box here like this. And we need more segments in here, so I'm just going to hit the, oops, not that one. Let's see, can I go back on that? Okay, so hit the right arrow key, and let's just make a bunch of segments here like that. I don't know, how many is that? It looks like 62 or something like that. Okay, and then once that's done, we're just going to hit enter to commit. Top view here, I'm going to right click and select all this here. Oops, I got to go down to points. I'm just going to right click now and select all these points, and we're going to delete that, and we're left with this poly chain. From here, if you want to reposition it, and I would recommend doing that, you hit T. We can just reposition this up to where, now what we would be doing is actually the endpoint here would be where it connects to the neon sign. So this is supposed to be like one of the wires coming out of the neon sign here. So you would would go to wherever electricity or whatever is going into the neon light. Okay, so just assuming it's there. Now once that's done, we're positioned. Let me make sure, if you want to move it closer, you can move it closer like that, and just get it wherever you want it. And then once we're done with that, let me just double check some things here. Okay, maybe I'll bring it down a little bit more, like right about there. Okay, once that's done, we're going to zoom in here a little bit. Let me hit A again. I'm just turning the scroll wheel. And then what we'll do is we're going to hit spacebar to drop this tool, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to draw a circle around this. Select those points, and I'm going to come down here and make a weight map, and we'll just go new, and we'll just leave it at the default name and go create, and then we'll close this. And then we're going to deselect all this, click away. We're going to go to map. We're going to go to set map. Let me right click, and we're going to just go and circle around this very end point right there and select that. And then we're going to go set map value, and we'll just leave it at the default and go OK. And believe it or not, we're done in Modeler. So we'll go save object as, and I'm just going to call it wire, I don't know, wire 6. How about that? And we'll go save. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to send everything over into layout. And hopefully it doesn't crash. What's a day? A day without a crash. No, I'm going to go ahead and save this right now because I've been having some crashes. So I'm just going to call this wires. But you do get to submit a report. So I do send a report when I do get a crash, at least when I keep having it. And then they'll say, I can't replicate it. And they say, well, you know, I'm really good at replicating crashes. You can't replicate it, but I can replicate it. Okay. You know, one thing I should have done is when I was in Modeler, let me go back to Modeler for a sec. Is it too late for me to name this, assign this surface? So I want to assign a surface to this. I don't even know if I can. I don't think I can, maybe. No, I can't. If I go to polygons, I don't think I can I? Oh, can I assign a color? Nope, I didn't think so. Ah, well, I wanted to make it black. Anyway, I'll just switch back to layout. So I don't know if you can assign a color to a polychain. Maybe not. Okay, well anyway, here we are. Layer 2 looks like it's our cord or our wire, and layer 1 is our wall. Now I should have named those in Modeler. That's a good habit. I don't have good habits. So anyway, so now that we're on the wire, all we got to do is we're going to go to Effects Tools, and we're going to go to deforming body, and then we're going to click on item properties, and we're going to set the mesh filter to weight. And that's all I think we need to do there. And then we're going to click on, we can just click on this wall, and it's layer 1, and we're going to set this as a static body like that. Now the fun is if we go to VPR and I hit play, it's hard to see what's happening, I guess, but the wire hangs. Now this is great. Let me go on camera view here. What we can do is if I zoom in, I'm going to show you the little thing that happens here. Now this is just a poly chain. Sometimes you see where it looks like it actually goes into the, so if I drag along a little bit further. So I have a couple of solutions for that. One thing I can do is I can give this some thickness. So if I click on the object and I go to properties, make sure I'm on the right thing here. Hold on. Let me go to texture. I want to be on layer 2 here. Layer 2. Now if I go to properties and I go to edge, now I learned this, if you hit negative, that just makes it go into metrics, meters, not, so we go 0.02 or 1 and enter. And then if I go back to VPR, I gotta thank Mark Warner for that tip. You can see it's thickened up there, right? The wire. But you see how it's like gone into the, I think if you had more subdivision there, that like here it's not a problem, here it's just barely a problem. One possible solution for that is to just replace this, just to use this background as a placeholder and then just get rid of it and then just put in something here. You know what I'm saying? Like get rid of this wall, and then when you go to build the scene, just because you'll have a nice bend to your wires there. The other option, you can try to just play around with some of the settings in here. So if we go into item properties, we can try to go to world and we can try to bump this thing up. This might help. So let's see if we go to 720. It slows down the simulation time, but see, I ended up getting a crash. Not good, right? So let me just send this all back over to layout. I don't know why it does that, and I should have saved it before I got to that point. So anyway, here we are back again, but that's life in the big city, you know, that happens. I mean, I never had all these programs. I have crashes sometimes. Okay, so let's go back. I don't think it saved anything. Let me hit play. Yeah, so let me go back and do this again. Let me go back into FX tools, and we'll go to set the wire to deforming body. We'll go to item properties. We will set this on weight, and you know, while I'm here, I'm just gonna bump that up to 360, and that's good. And then what we'll do is we will go and click on the wall, and we'll set that to static body, and we will hit play here. What you can do is then just drag the playhead, and so I don't know, you can play around with it. It's just on those edges. I honestly believe that if you subdivided this more, it probably wouldn't happen, but you get a nice natural laying wire this way. And then if you just want to add thickness to the wire, please don't. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna just save this before it does. Let me see. Okay, that's my fault for not doing that. Wire. Save 3. Okay, save. And then if I want to thicken this wire up, I would just go to properties. No, I'm not on the wire yet. That's why I gotta name my layers. That's my fault again. Okay, and then we go to properties and we go to edge and we'll do -0.01. Okay, and you can't see that until you go into BPR. But you get the idea of it, right? So this is just a nice natural way to hang those wires, and if you assign that map value here, you would assign this to the bot where it plugs into your neon tube, and then I think this way you can get a nice natural hanging wire. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you stay safe and make through this pandemic thing. Okay, bye.